Hi everyone, very good morning, good evening. Welcome back to ITOM Batch 3, Day 4. How are you doing guys today?
Doing great. Thank you, Ajay. What about you?
Good to hear, Mustan. I'm also doing good, thank you. What about others?
Good, yeah, fine. The day with perfect sun.
Good, good. I think, yeah, then let's get started. So, before starting today's session, just want to check with you again. Have you any questions from the last sessions? Any questions from anyone?
Yeah, sorry, can we get more clarity about CMDB and CI? It's a little bit confusing. I've not really gotten the concepts right.
Right. So, Michael, I'm going to be start CMDB and CI related things very soon. Right. So we will give you the more clarity about that, how the CMDB and CI will be. But just to give you a picture, as I mentioned already, like CMDB is the database where we are going to be store the CI's related information. CI is nothing. CI is the configuration item, which where we are going to be store about the a device informations that belongs to that particular device infra details basically. Right. So when we
Okay.
are when I'm talking about infra details, that is about the configuration item detail of that particular device is related to that hard disk, RAM, CPU, memory, and all other things, right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So if no questions related to the earlier sessions, I ask some everyone's to be prepared about the device type, what type of device will be available in a data center, what is the port which they are mostly working, and what are the credentials type are using. Can anyone wants to provide any example on it?
Yeah, Ajay. For data center, we can say that data center can carry multiple types of devices like Windows OS, Linux, even cloud
Mm-hmm.
devices like Azure, virtual machine instance.
Mm-hmm.
Port, if you are asking, then we know that 135 is for Windows, 22 for Linux, 161 for SMTP devices. Likewise.
Okay. So if I just normally ask you, like you are using Windows laptop, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So on which port, when you are taking RDP of Windows device, which port that RDP is working? The
It's
remote
130.
desktop protocol?
It's 135.
No.
Mm, yeah, then I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Anyone wants to add anything? Okay, no one wants to add. Okay, so I think let's get started and let me share my screen again. I hope my screen is visible to
Yeah.
everyone.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about first of all vCenters or the virtualization method, which is going to be used by or which is going to be used by every organization in their data centers, right? So what is VMware, what vCenter or VMware's vSphere is doing in that particular organization, how it's going to be configured, right? So VMware vSphere is nothing. It's just a virtualization platform which transform data centers into aggregated compute infrastructures that include CPU, storage, and networking resources, right? So vSphere is going to be manage these infrastructures as a unified operating environment and provide you both with the tools of administrator the data centers that participate in that environment, right? So in simple words, why vCenters comes in the picture, when vCenter technology is not here or not there, there are, you have to be purchase a physical server. The physical server configuration might be high, and that time you are not utilizing the complete the physical servers, and it going to be a very higher cost side, right? So vCenter or virtualization methods comes in the picture. What is the use of it? Simply, in simple word and layman term, if I say, on a physical server, we are going to be install the virtualization application or the vCenter applications, and it will try to break that particular complete configuration in small chunks. So if I give you an example, we have like 100 or 200 GB hard disk, 100 GBs of RAM, or 10 core CPU, and if my application is only going to be utilized 10 GB RAM or 10 GB hard disk and 2 core CPU. So other are waste, right? So vCenter, we are going to be install the virtualization sounds of application or software on that particular physical machine, and it will create first of all a vCenter server, and under that vCenter server we can decide how many ESX servers we are going to be defined, and under one ESX servers we can define again multiple virtual machines, right? So similarly, the same physical machine, we can install lots of virtual machines, and that lots of virtual machine can encounter or can help to work on the different applications. Again, we can utilize wherever or whatever we want to be utilized. It can be the same ESX servers can be utilized by the single LOB or single user or single applications, or it can be possible we can divide to the different LOBs, different type of users or different applications. It depends to us only how we want to be segregate that particular thing, right? So there are two more component as I mentioned. vSphere are that is one is ESXi servers, or the one is a vCenter servers. ESXi is a virtualization platform where you create and run virtual machines and virtual applications. And vCenter is the service through which you manage multiple hosts connected in a network and pool host resources. So if you are able to see in my example, in the first example, if you see, whenever you are going to be install virtualization method or virtualization software, in simple words, if I say, it's just technology or software which we are going to be install. So what you are able to get, vCenter, vCenter server. The vCenter server is something from where you can manage, from where you can see like how many ESXi connected to that vCenter server, how many virtual machine connected to that particular ESXi server, right? The same way, if you are able to see, this is example of my vCenter. On top of it, that ESX server is running, and top of it, our virtual machine is running. And when we are doing that particular activity, this is not about these things will be created. There are lots of virtual network, virtual data storage, virtual storage. There are lots of component will going to be utilized or going to be at that particular time, right? And that technology is going to be help out to utilize that particular physical servers in a great way, as well as it basically it split that particular chunk in based on our requirements only. So it up to us how we want to be split that particular physical servers and how many VMs or DSX servers we are going to be create, right? In the second example, if you are able to see, this is just something I just want to showcase you. Like there are two ESXi hosts. One is ESXi host 1 and 2. On top of it, you can see the management traffic ports. Under that, you are able to see the virtual machines. Now we can define that particular virtual machine belongs to test environment, that particular virtual machine belongs to production. On management traffic is going to be, or vMotion traffic is going to be connect with that vMotion traffic switches or management ports, right? Under that, you are able to see that uplink port is connected, and on under that you can see couple of other components are connected, right? Physical switch, physical network adapters, and all other things, right? The same way right hand side is also the same. So what is the use to create in that particular manner? Basically, it just to be like it just to for my business continuity planning, right? If anything is going to be impacted automatically using the vmotion. Vmotion is again a technology or that benefit of the virtualization or vcenter. If anything is going to be happen on that particular VM1 on ESXi host 1, automatically we can replace that particular VM, or we can move out that particular VM to the ESXi host 2 with this particular vmotion technology, right? Because we know there is some issue is running on that particular vmotion, or that application we can transfer to the ESXi host 2, right? So in simple word, it just give the high availability of our servers where we can use that particular things. I also try to mention the one more example which is related to again of virtualization technology, and that particular, if you remember that particular vCenter or VMware technology provided by the VMware, and there is one more technology which we called Hyper-V, and that the provided by the Microsoft, right? So again, what we are doing here, we have a Hyper-V physical host server. On top of it, we are going to be build Microsoft Hyper-V. And top of it, we can connect the couple of virtual machines which belongs to different OS, different applications, or on the top of it, we can install the database and different other things, right? So in simple words, that is the architecture we see in the vCenter's VMware side basically. And there are couple of other technology comes in the picture as of now as well. One of the technologies Nutanix, right? So I hope you heard about that Nutanix, right? So Nutanix is also doing the same thing, but it depends which organization is using what. Now, in any questions in about the basic things of the how the virtualization or vCenter looks like? Yes, please.
Hi, Ajay. Ajay, the depiction is really very nice, but not very clear with the virtualization over here. But if I try to just see that when you said like Hyper-V, which is like from the Microsoft, which is
Mm-hmm.
depicting over here as like one of the hardware and having a three arrows, and we have like Microsoft Hyper-V. So what
Mm-hmm.
exactly is this? Is also a physical unit, or this is something else?
No. This is physical unit is the Hyper-V physical host server,
Okay.
and top of it, that Hyper-V server is not a physical unit. It's again a virtual unit, and on top of it, the virtual machine is running. Let me give you an in simple example basically. So let me go to my Excel here. I'm just trying to give you little bit on that side. See what is, so first of all, you have a physical machine, okay? And that physical machine, as I mentioned, you got 100 GB SSD, 100 GB RAM, or 100 core CPU. Now you want to be use this particular physical machine as much as possible, right? What you will do, you will come in I'm just trying to explain in simple words. On the physical machine, you are going to be install any virtualization software, okay? The
In
virtualization software can be from VMware, can be from Hyper-V, or
Nutanix.
as I mentioned, Nutanix, okay? Now you have installed it. But actually, when you are installing Hyper-V or Nutanix or virtual these particular things, that will create a main host server that we called in VMware, we called vCenter. Hyper, we've called Hyper-V physical server, because on that IP only you are able to discover in ServiceNow. So whatever, whenever you are going to be asked customer, we need to be discover your VMware, so they will provide you one IP that is vCenter management IP. Using that, you are going to be discover, right? And the same way, Hyper-V physical server IP, you are going to be get it. So using that, or in simple words, if I say Hyper-V management console IP, you are able to get it, right? And Nutanix are also the same, right? I'm not too much aware about the Nutanix technology because I'm not familiar. This is recently introduced couple of years back only, and I just did the discovery on the Nutanix side, right? But
Sorry, I'm just stopping you here. There
huh?
is a one more. term which you have used, EXSI servers.
I'm coming on
Okay.
that point,
Okay.
right? So once you have these particular, vCenter or vSphere client and Hyper-V is created under
Can
vCenter,
I stop you here? Like, what is virtualization software? Mm.
virtualization software is something which help to virtualize your device. I'm just using that terminology, right? It is something which is provided by the providers, that is VMware or Hyper-V.
Okay, I mean, what it is used for, like, I'm not aware of that. So once it is installed, you
I
can.
hope you joined late because I already explained that particular component.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let me rephrase this again, no issues. So what I'm trying to say, virtualization is nothing. Virtualization is something where we are going to be split our physical machine in small chunks and we can use for different application. Simple. So when we are getting a huge, let me give an example. You are purchasing a Windows machine, right? On top of it, what you are doing, you are going to be create multiple drives, C drive, D drive, E drive, right? Your C drive is specific for your, operating system, but a D drive and E drive, you are sometimes you a more specific D drive is going to be used for my personal data. A drive is going to be used for my movies, or F drive is going to be used by for particular things. But on that particular, when you are doing partnering of your drives, it is just splitting your hard drive. It's not splitting your RAM or CPU and other things, right? Here, whatever you want to do on the physical machine or whatever the host you have purchased, on top of it, you can split those particular things. Like, I just want to use 50 GB RAM for one ESXi, right? And the second, the same way 50 GB, 50 core CPU, I'm going to be used by one ESXi. Now, again, and 50 GB hard disk. The same way, now it's again on the ESXi servers, you can also do how many virtual you want to be run it on top of it, that ESXi servers, right? So might be you want only 5 to be running, and again that particular thing going to be split out in the 5. So 5 is equal to 10 GB RAM for per virtual machine. The same way 10 core CPU for per virtual machine, right? And the same way 10 GB hard disk for per virtual machine, right? So this is just a technology in simple words, or just an application in simple words. If I say you are going to be installed on that physical machine, and you just need to do some configurations, you need to be decide or define what configuration you are going to be use it, and then it automatically create one vCenter IP or management IP. From that you can manage the complete virtualization things from like it's just a management console on and then it will create ESXi servers, it will create virtual machines on top of it, and there are other different component is going to be installed, which we call virtualization network, virtual data store, virtual storage, and there are lots of other component which is going to be connected with that, right? So the architecture or the image which I'm trying to showcase you, that is just about that how the internal architecture looks like of a virtualization server or a virtualization technology. I hope now you are able to relate it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm trying to say, so vCenter again going to be connect with ESXi, and then on top of it, as I mentioned, virtual machines are there, and there are other component like a virtual data store, network, and uh, or just a virtual network data store or virtual storage.
Ajay, Vicent is
Uh,
a application or like a server?
vCenter is an application,
Okay.
right? It when you install that application on the physical machine, it will
Mhm.
provide you a management console. Now, let me give you an example. Let me ask you in a different way. Now tell me, ServiceNow is an application or what it is basically in your words.
It's a SaaS platform
It's a SaaS platform, right? How you are accessing that one?
through web.
Through web. You know, you have a specific URL to access it, right?
Yeah.
But and in backend, that is also running on some servers,
Yeah.
right? Because that whatever you are doing on that particular applications that have application node or database node in the backend, which is again you are on the service now is going to be expose you only the URL, but IP is also there, right? Because
Yeah.
they created in that way you will aware that servicenow.com is something which you're using, but IP is there, again virtual networks is also there, and storage also there, data stores also there. Again, it's running on the virtualization concept only, right? So this is just key what we have exposed, we know only that particular thing, but management IP up now tell me, if anyone wants to do any configuration changes, how he able to do it, right? How he able to access it if he has only this URL, if we don't have anything else, how support able to perform the patch upgrade or whatever he wants to do? Something required, right? The management is required. From there he can log into that particular server, or the patch upgrades or RAM changes, CPU changes, whatever you are able to perform, you can perform it, right? Because it's again virtual thing. So vCenter gave that capability, or vCenter is something where you can manage the complete ESXi virtual machines and all other component, right? And whenever you are going to be discover, you are going to be asked the vCenter IP or VMware IP or vSphere IP in different word, different technology, different things we say, but we are going to be asked the vCenter IP, just provide the vCenter IP. And whenever you are going to be discover vCenter or management console, automatically you are able to discover the all component of it, because everything connected to that particular vCenter or management console. I hope now you're able to relate it. If someone asks you, have you tried anyone tried to discover ServiceNow? Are you able to discover first of all? Any idea, anyone? No, right? ServiceNow, because why we are not able to discover ServiceNow? ServiceNow is not exposing their infra to their customers or stakeholders. ServiceNow is purely managing each and everything from their side, and that is a SaaS platform, software as a service. So that only just exposing a URL and different component for configuration to us, like modules and whatever, right? But it's not exposing the database side. It's not exposing the behind infra to us. So it's very difficult to discover that one. Right. If it is able to expose the management IP to us, this is the management IP, we can able to discover that one. But this doesn't mean if we are not able to discover as a customer of the ServiceNow instance ourselves, ServiceNow don't have that visibility. ServiceNow have that particular visibility, and he's able to discover at their side as well how many instances or how many particular region wise as well, if how many instances is going to be used by the Karnataka state, what are different servers we have placed there, what are the database we are going to be used, or specific customer as well. If I'm talking about any customer XYZ, so how many instances we have provided to that instances, what is the management IP of that instances, how many virtual machine application sorry app server or database server or web server is connected to that particular instance. They have that particular visibility, and they have the visibility, that's why they are able to do the patch management and whatever the activities they are doing from their side, right? It again, in simple words, it's an application, right? That application, they are going to be installed on that application server, and then they will provide you the web UI from where you are able to see everything. In simple words, I hope, I'm not sure you are aware or not, but Saudi Arab side or that particular region side, they are not allowing to be connect a service now on that particular web URL. So they have on-prem solution as well. So they go to their data centers, that particular customer data centers, asking for a couple of machines, and where they install that application. And again, that application is working same as which we are able to access it. The, the technology or the thing is simple. That particular application hosted in their data centers, not on the ServiceNow cloud, right? So I don't want to be do very complicated. It's just a simple, in simple words, if I say application which you can install on any physical or virtual machine, and we will create a web GUI, and from where you can access it. Simple. This is just very simple to be understand. I hope everyone is getting it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Let me go back to my PPT again. So that I just want to be try to mention this particular things comes in the picture when we are going to use that one. Now in the next slide, let me showcase you this one. Right. So I just try to capture the basic or the most important infra component for a data center, right? So if I hope you heard about server, right? What is the purpose of that servers, right? And how many types of servers is available, right? So purpose of the servers is hosting application, database, and again virtual machines, right? Now applications can be multiple or different type of application. That can be a custom application which is again running on the JavaScript, or a different technology or Python or somewhere, right? That can be and again hosted on that particular machine. That can be any type of app server is hosted on that machine. That can be Apache Tomcat or Redis or whatever, right? Database, we have different technologies like MS SQL, Postgres, Oracle. There are different type of databases. Again, virtual machines, as I mentioned, there are different technologies for virtual machines: Hyper-V, Vcenter, Nutanix, and all, right? So in end of the day, what we call everything is a server. We are specifically not going to be mentioned lots of time. This is that particular type of server, right? Examples I just mentioned of the servers is Dell Power is going to be provide, HP going to be provide, IBM Lead Center is going to be provide. So that are the physicals. So that is a physical service which is provided by different providers, and on top of it we are doing whatever we want to be do, right? There's a common port I'm just trying to mention here. SSH for port 22. In port 22 SSH something is for Linux servers specifically. If I give you one Linux server IP, now again you will ask, what is Linux? It's just nothing, it's just an OS operating system. So let me give you again a different example here. You purchase a laptop from any provider, that can be Dell, HP, or whatever, right? And sometimes you will see we will not provide you the OS. We will provide you with DOS. I hope you heard about it, DOS command, right? So they are not providing you OS on it. But again, using on the DOS command, it's very tough to be use it, right? You cannot, you have command knowledge on it, right? So what you are doing, you are purchasing that system, coming to your home and installing OS, which is you are more familiar with. Like I am more familiar with Mac OS, so I'm using Mac, right? But if you are familiar with Windows, you are going to be use Windows. If you are familiar with Linux, you are going to be installed on Linux. So it's just an OS which is available in the market now. Couple of OS is free available. You can do it from your side. Couple of OS, again a licensing and some other different things, you have to be purchase it and you can install it, right? So in the Linux side, there are different providers for the Linux type of OS or Unix type of OS. Red Hat is one of them. Ubuntu is there. CentOS is there. So that all are the flavor of the Linux or Unix. I hope you're following, you're getting to it, right? Yes,
Yes,
no.
Ajay. Yes,
Okay,
Ajay.
Yes,
thank
Ajay.
you. Thank you. Then second thing is RDP, port 3389 for Windows Server. Now, again, Windows Server is when we are talking about Windows Server, Windows is again provided by Microsoft, but there are different versions of the Windows Server. In your laptop, or you are using Windows 7, Windows 11, Windows 12, whatever, right? I'm not familiar with Windows from last couple of years on the desktop side, but on server side, we have Windows 2012, Windows 2016, Windows 2019, right? So it's up to us which we want to be install it, right? So different might be Windows now 19 have a couple of different features because the version is changed. Windows 16 have a couple of different features. So time is realizing, and everything is going to be update time on time. So when we need to be connect, when we need to take a RDP, RDP is simple remote desktop protocol. If we want to take it off your laptop, I need to be enable port 3389 from my laptop in simple words, right? Then we have web or HTTP applications. You almost aware about it that web and HTTP applications are running on port 80 and 443, where port 80 is for HTTP and 443 is for HTTPS, right? Where we are going to be install an application server. Now, again, one questions comes in the mind. You have a Windows server. Now, let me give you an example of your laptop again. You got it, your laptop, you install the Windows OS, but still you want to access Microsoft Outlook, you want to access Chrome. That application is not there. What you are doing? You are just going to be that Play Store or internet and just trying to download the exe and just going to be install it, right? Same you are doing only. The same way here. If you wants to be anyone wants a Tomcat Apache or IIS server or something, that just an application. They are going to be install it. The use of that each application is different. The same way you are using Microsoft Outlook for emails, Teams for chatting, or connect with your colleagues, that application is going to be utilized for different purposes. So this is just an again applications which we are going to be installed on that machine, and how we can connect using the port 80 and 443 for that particular application. It depends what type of application it is. Then again, we are going to be installed the same way we are going to be install the database on that particular machine. That can be physical or virtual, right? So database are different. Now you have purchased Oracle EXE. In simple words, I'm trying to say you purchase EXE Oracle from there. You are going to be double click and installing that one. When you are going to be install Oracle, that is going to be connect with a different port. If you are going to be use MS SQL, you are going to be use port 1433 to connect that particular database specifically. If is MySQL, if the port is 3306 and Postgres is 5432, right? So different things you are going to be put it on that particular thing on particular device. So if you see on a single machine, you have OS. Then first of all, you have OS. So if you want to connect with OS, only that particular host machine, you are going to use the port 3389 for Windows at port 22 for Linux. On that of it, the application is also running. If you want to connect that application, the port is something different. And if you want to connect with the database, the port is something different. So on the same machine, there are three things is running. Okay. And now credentials comes in the picture. So if you want to connect with that particular application, uh, if you want to connect with a particular application, you need particular type of credentials. So credentials for SSH, there are two types of credentials available: username and password, simple, or the private key credentials for SSH. And in the Windows side, there are domain credentials or the local credentials, right, for RDP. And if you want to connect with the database or applications, there are application specific credentials which you are going to use it. Yes, someone raise hand. Yes, please.
Ajay, actually, I have a bit confusion on the RDP part. Like
Hmm.
for Windows, it is 135 or 445, right? But that is a
So
TCP or
TCP. So I'm coming to that point as well. But 135 is WMI port, Windows Management Instrumentation port.
Okay.
Okay, I'm talking about specifically RDP, right? RDP is something where you want to take a remote of that machine. If that particular port 3389 is not enabled, you are
Mhm.
not able to take the RDP of that machine. 135 is Windows Management Implementation. So again, when you are installing a your laptop OS Windows, WMI is going to be installed on your laptop automatically. It just to connect that particular WMI, the port 135 is comes in the picture, and using WMI technology or WMI method, we are collecting the data from Windows to our in our CMDB in service now.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm,
Any
yes,
other
yes, Ajay.
any other
And
questions from? Yeah, go ahead, please.
Ajay, regarding the RDP, like
Hmm.
any use case, like suppose when we go and look into that particular port is open, like in which scenario?
Yes, I'm coming to that point. I'm coming to that point, right?
Yeah.
So I think some background noise from your side. Just if you go on mute, so that will be good, right? So RDP, when we are going to use it, in simple words, I will tell you. You want to be installed mid application. How you are able to do that? Or let me give you a different way example. You have your friend laptop, but he's away from you. You want to see it just a screen sharing in simple words if I say, or you want to see what application running on that one, you want to take a remote of it and you want to install something on it, how you are able to do that? You required RDP. You require access of that particular machine, so you can access from your laptop, you can connect and you can do whatever activities you want to do. It's just in simple words, it's just a screen sharing. You can do from Teams example, like on the Teams we are also sharing screen to each other and we are able to do that. But till the time you don't have some person is not giving you access to accept their screen control, you are not able to do that screen sharing as well, and no, you're not able to install anything on that machine. But RDP not required any control from anywhere. It just if you have current access or if you have port enability, you can directly go to that RDP protocol, just provide the IP of that machine, just provide the credentials, and you're able to get in on that machine. There is no one is going to be provide you access for accessibility for that particular machine. But screen sharing side, someone is going to be provide that accessibility. Someone is going to be accept your request, and then you are able to take it, right? So mid server use case, whenever you are going to be installed mid application on any machine, you require RDP. Sometimes when you are running discovery, but you want a sorry, you want to troubleshoot something. So what you do, you go to the mid server. From mid server, you are taking the RDP and doing some troubleshooting, right? So it just for troubleshooting, it just for in ServiceNow space, it just for mid-server installation, and there are different of use cases are there where you have to check the connectivity, where you have to check the credentials. Let me give you a simple example. You have one IP of Windows Server which you want to discover, but customer says whatever we provide you, the credentials and the port is correct. How you are going to be ensure that is correct and that device is not discovering, right? But still customer is saying everything is correct from our side. How you're going to be ensured, right? So,
Uh,
tell me.
yeah, you will either telnet it if you are able to connect through the credentials. If you are able to pass the test, I guess the information which client has given to you is correct.
Right, right. But credentials test is again going to be fail on service instance. There is, UI action in the credentials table where you can do credentials test, right? But it's still going to be fail. But still, customer saying you are sure that is not working. But customer wants some evidence. He's saying I'm not relying on that one on ServiceNow side. Then again, what you do, you are taking the RDP, you are trying to access that particular machine, through RDP and putting the credentials whatever the customer provide, and that is not working, and you can provide a screenshot to them, sir, I am trying to take the RDP, that is not working, because end of the day, when you are discovering the port 33 is also 89 is also required to do that. Correct me if I am wrong, or you are going to be not able to get it. Right. So the same telnet you can do from your mid server, like you just need to connectivity from source to destination, you can do it. But again, to test the credentials, you need to be access it through using the RDP or some different methods. RDP is just something which we can do directly, but different organizations using different methods, they just created a jump server. They are using some technology, and that all servers are going to be connected with that. You can log into that particular portal, again management portal we can say, right? And from there you can take directly. But again, on that particular portal, RDP is also required. That particular portal, that port 22 is required. End of the day, you are not aware about it because you are not doing manually. You are doing some in different way, in automatic way, right? So that is the servers, and that is the server types. Basically, most of the time is going to be used by an organization. Any questions in the server side? Are we good? Okay.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
next
Yes,
is
sir.
the next is storage. Right? What is the purpose of that storage devices? Storage is data storage and management for backups, archive, and the live data. Whatever we are going to be do, the same way in our laptop, the storage is our hard disk, right? In simple words, storage is nothing. It's just a big hard disk for data centers, right? Where we are going to be store that my application data or transactions, whatever we want to be, right? Or there are different organizations or different again providers for that. That is NetApp, Dell EMC, HPE, or there are lots of, right? I'm just given a couple of examples, right? Most of the times using different ports to be connected with the storage. If that is SCSI port storage, that is 3260, NFS is 24049, SMB or CIFS is port 445, and management interface mostly connecting to these particular port, right? So that port is 443, 5989, and 5988, right? If you want to reconnect with the storage and management interface, you need to be that, right? What credentials is required? We required admin username and password for management console, and service account credentials for automatic task, right? So these particular things we required for storage. Now you will ask some curiosity, how storage is connected to that particular device, right? So I hope you heard about optical fiber cables, right? So that, but again, it's just a different machine, different physical component, which have lots of hard disk, or the capacity of data storing is much high, that we are connecting to that fiber cables to that particular device directly. In simple words, that we called I'm just forgetting the name of it. We called that storage switch basically, right? So through the storage switch, that is connecting to that particular physical machines, and the data is transferring between them, right? And we are able, when we are going, whatever depend technology or provider we are using, based on that we are able to discover on the connectivity side, if we have admin credentials, if we have that particular port is enabled, we are able to do that, right? Then the third component, which is mostly used, networking devices. What is the purpose of the network devising is, we can do routing, we can do switching, we can do traffic management, then firewalls is there, network security and traffic filtering, and then load balancer is there, which is going to be distribute the traffic among the servers to ensure reliability, right? So there are different technologies comes in the picture when I'm talking about networking, right? What are the examples of the network devices? That is Cisco Nexus is there, Juniper is there, Arista switches is there, Palo Alto firewall switches is there, right? Fortinet, FortiGate is there for firewalls. F5 big IP is there for load balancers. Citric ADC is there for load balancers. AWS Elastic load balancers are there, right? So this is just example of different providers for network, right? Now, how you can differentiate between them? Whenever you are going to be purchase a laptop, you are purchasing the laptop from the Dell, but the all component which is inside in your laptop all belongs to the Dell. No, might be RAM is provided by XYZ, might be that microprocessor or processor is going to be provided by someone else, that is provided by mostly Intel or AMD, right? And RAM is hard disk is going to be provided by SanDisk or Western Digital or some different technology, right? End of the day, they are purchasing that part and going to be assemble it. And the same here in the data centers, what we are doing, we are purchasing different component and building a data centers for us, right? So these are the service providers or providers basically, or we in different world we a word we are also saying OEM, origin enterprise something, right? So they OEM for that particular technology, right? So they are providing that one. What are the common ports is going to be used? So again, switches we can also connect through the SSH on the port 22. We can do that connectivity on port 22. We can also, if is there any web interface for that particular switches, we can also connect on the port 480 or 443. And SNMP ports, a simple network protocol port is port 161, port 162. Port 161 is again, here is a catch. The port 161 is a UDP port. It's not a TCP port. Or 162 is for monitoring specifically we are going to use. Credentials which we can use, console or SSH credentials we can use for that, or SNMP communication that can be public for or read only. And there is recently introduced V3 credentials as well. So V3 credentials is also there, right? So we can use to connect that particular type of devices. Now, just want to ask with you, do anyone knows what is the difference between TCP and UDP? Transmission control. I'm just forgetting the full form of TCP.
There's
Transfer
Transfer
control.
control.
it's a
Sorry.
protocol. Both of them are the protocol,
Mm-hmm.
and TCP is more secure. Or probably like the packets get delivered. Uh, like the information in the form of the packets is get delivered to the destination, whereas UDP is the fastest one. But like the delivery of the packets of the information is not sure. It's a user datagram protocol.
Right. Right. So, okay. Anyone wants to add anything on that side?
We could say like in TCP, the data when it transfer it follows a correct order. Like while transferring the data goes in a packet with a proper order. But in UDP, data transfer completely. Then after that, it get ordered
Mm.
data packets.
Okay. So, in my terms, what I say basically, right? TCP is transmission control protocol. UDP is user diagram protocol, right? In simple words, what I understand, and then from TCP and UDP, whenever anything you are sending using the TCP, or let's take an example of a courier boy. You are sending something through the courier boy to a destination, and if that courier boy is able to reach out the destination, provide that particular courier to that whatever or where you want to be transferred, and you will get a response, your courier has been delivered successfully, right? This is TCP. UDP is something which is fast, or you can say fast delivery. They can reach out the destination, but you will not get a confirmation, in simple words, right? So you are not sure what is happened. It is reached or not, or what thing is happened, right? So in that case, TCP is little slow. It's reliable, and it transfer the data slowly, and you will get a confirmation. UDP is reliable, but it's do UDP is less reliable, but it's do more quickly. In simple words, I hope you are able to correlate between the examples, what I try to say, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is going to be used it, right? Now, the one question I just want to be check with you guys. Uh, 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 okay. Anyone work on the Telnet side? how you are going to be telnet any device, and what is the use of telnet?
Telnet is again like, when where you actually try connecting with the X host,
Mm-hmm.
and and uh, and it's require a port number. You require like, the IP address of that, and if it is allowed through the firewall, you are able to reach,
Mm-hmm.
and you connect with it.
Okay.
And the more ensure is that, like, I mean, if it is like, CM command line interface, the command line interface, like the moment you are connected, it goes blank, and you will be having a prompt on the left hand side corner top, and says like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you are connected.
Right. Now, apart from Eklavya, anyone wants to tell me what is the exact command we are using on the CMDB to check the telnet connections or to check the connectivity? Anyone?
Is it IP config?
No. No. IP config is just to get the complete information about that particular IP on that machine.
You type telnet and provide the IP address and the port number and hit enter.
Right. So you have to provide on the command prompt telnet space the target IP which you want to test the connections, and then the specific port on which specific you want to take the connection again. Right. Now, can anyone tell me, uh, can we telnet the UDP port apart from Eklavya? Guys, give yes, no, maybe, whatever you want to be. Like,
No, no,
if
no.
I'm asking, I'm just trying to be doing in different ways. So you should know, because telnet is going to be used for sure in the discovery most of the time, right? To check the connections. TCP UDP port is going to be used it, right? So does do are we able to do telnet the UDP ports specifically?
No.
Anyone else?
No idea, Jay, about that.
Okay. So right, as Eklavya mentioned, we cannot telnet the UDP ports, right? But there is one product, again, one application which we called port query. Using that, we can check the connections between UDP port from source to destination, right? The port query is provided by Microsoft. Using that, we can check it, right? They will give the confirmations that is connected or not. But end of the day, UDP ports, you cannot test or you cannot connection it, right? As I given the example of already, you send someone to deliver some courier, but you did not receive any response. The same way, when you are trying to telnet the UDP port, you will not get anything, any response, right? So that's why we are not using telnet to specifically for UDP ports, right? Now, why I use telnet, why I use UDP, TCP, what is the difference between them? You already may, got it. But whenever you are going to be do discovery, you have to go with lots of troubleshooting issues, troubleshooting things. So that's why I specifically mentioned for credentials, whenever you feel or you are able to see in the discovery logs, the credential is not working or test credential is not working. You have the RDP or SSH, you can just go put the IP and just try to check the credentials, right? The same way, if you are able to get in that particular one, if you want to check the connectivity for specific ports, you can do the telnet commands, right? So these are the basic things which you can do. Apart from that, the same way, there are lots of WBME testing is there. There is SNMP walk is there for SNMP devices. We will discuss in the next classes how WBME test is working, how SNMP walk is working. If I just want to test a specific network device discovery issue, right, related to Windows, because we and everyone, I am sure everyone is not known about Linux, right? Because Linux is something different type of OS. Console is there, but end of the day, that is using the most of the command and all, command line interface to be do that particular thing, right? So that how that command line interface is working in the Linux side, how that commands, what commands we are going to be provide access when we are doing discovery. So that things we are going to be discover. Now, any questions in that particular two or three things which we covered today related to the device type, credentials, port, TCP, UDP, virtualization from anyone?
Ajay, I think it's a doubt, or just I want to clarify myself
Mm-hmm.
about the telnet. Usually, we use telnet in the TCP, transfer control protocol. Like TCP is usually based on connection oriented. Like if we are getting a credentials on that time, we do use the TCP. But in UDP, there is nothing about the connection oriented. Like what I have read about that follows while doing streaming or something. On that time,
Mm-hmm.
we use UDP.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah,
That
and
you.
for the
Mhm.
yeah, and for the TCP, like file sharing or all the things, we need a target on that time to share a
Right.
credential. Is there something?
No, right. So when you're doing telnet, first of all, you're not required any credentials to do the connectivity. It's just a
Correct.
connection test, right? So in simple word, I am calling Abhishek. Are you able to hear me? You
Yeah.
mentioned, yes, I'm able to hear you. That is the telnet only, right?
Okay.
So I'm specifically mentioned Abhishek, right? So source is Ajay, target is Abhishek, and I specifically check on the one thing, are you able to hear me? That is port. I'm not going to use any credential here, right? As you mentioned, TCP is oriented and UDP is not. This is correct, right? So that's why if I call Abhishek again, right, and Abhishek is not responding, so I know the target is X, but Abhishek is not responding anything, right? He's not giving any answer to me. It means I'm not able to reach, or it means I'm using the different technology or the UDP port. That's why I'm not able to connect it. Got it? It's
Yeah, got
just a connection or connectivity testing. We are not going to use any credentials while doing telnet.
okay.
Any other questions from anyone else?
So Ajay, what can be the use case for this local admin account as well as the service account
Local
on
admin
discovery point of
account.
view?
Come again. Local account.
Local account, admin account, and our service account. So where we can
Okay.
use all these three from discovery point of view.
Okay. So local account is nothing. Local account is something where domain is not connected or domain is not connected to that particular machine, right? So if you're using your personal laptop, might be, I'm sure you're not using you're not connected to your personal laptop with any specific domain, right? Now, if you ask me domain, what is domain? Domain is nothing. It's just a, in simple words, what I say, I'm just trying to recall the correct word for that. Domain is nothing where, okay, let me tell you. So it's just an, uh, administrative structure to organizing, delivering, and accessing the services on the internet, right? So you can find out ki this is organization domain for mine, and there are lot how many peoples are there in that domain, and how many peoples are belongs to which LOB, which team and all, right? So that is something domain, right? So obviously on your personal laptop, you're not going to be connect with your domain, right? So that if you are using your personal laptop or you are using your local credentials, that we call local credentials in simple words, right? Admin credentials, again, where which credentials we have admin access, but specifically when I'm talking about, we are not asking for any admin access on credentials except for storage devices, right? We are asking local admin access on the credentials of domain. So domain is again where internet or that but again different name is there, but it just again a credentials type where you are asking which domain you are belongs, what is your name and what is password of it, and you on that particular domain you have local account for the specific. Service account is something which you can going to be configure on domain itself and which have the accessibility across the all machine which is comes on the domain part. I hope you are able to differentiate now.
Yeah, Ajay, I got that. So from discovery point of view, we are asking customer to provide the service account or it's a local admin account.
We always trying to ask service account only
Service accounts.
because we don't want to be create multiple credentials for multiple servers, and it's again very hectic to manage in service now. So we will ask provide one or two service account based on the domain specific, so we can configure it and based on that discovery will run smoothly.
Okay.
And in fact, if it is a customer, customer usually go for the service account because service accounts are the one which has been able to manage, and from the audit standpoint also it is required to be like under the security. So there's always be a service account.
Definitely.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Eklavya, adding on the things. Yes, anyone else?
Ajay, I have a doubt, Ajay. Actually, I personally experienced this case.
Mm-hmm.
Where actually I don't have an access to the image server and have an
Mm-hmm.
access to the virtual machine. When I tried
Mm-hmm.
to use the telnet command, and then that time I faced like something is not enabled. Something I got some message. I didn't remember exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That time I used the call command. What might be the issue, Ajay? Like,
So again, the telnet is
mm,
a protocol, right? That
mm,
should be enabled on that machine, right? It
okay,
sometimes organization is not enable the telnet command specifically on the couple of machines, but this is my experience on my thing. Whenever when we are coming to that discovery prereq part or mid server things specifically, we are specifically going to be mentioned I need these particular things to be run smoothly discovery and troubleshooting. If telnet is
okay,
not there, I'm not able to give you the proper right. In the different way, might be that user which they have created that don't have the telnet access, but admin have the telnet access to on it, right? So
yep,
it just create dependencies for us. We have to go to that admin user or that credentials, and then we have to do the telnet, right? So specifically when we are going to be when I am going to be worked or installing any mid server to telnet and all other things, right? I'm asking local admin credentials on my profile, so I can do troubleshooting, I can perform whatever I want to be. It's not admin, it's local admin,
okay.
right? So might be
And
telnet is not enabled on that machine, that is the case.
okay. And did that required any mid server access for that? Like,
Sorry, come again.
no, did suppose we want to run those commands, did we need mid server access?
Definitely, because source is your mid server almost every time when you're
Mm,
running discovery,
mm,
right? So you have to
okay,
check the connections between mid server to the target host which you want to be discovered,
okay.
right?
Got it, Ajay. Yeah,
A,
thank you, Ajay.
anything else from anyone else before we are going to be close? Any questions? Last question.
Yeah, Ajay.
Yes,
So,
Rhythm.
so just a small query, like
Ah,
in the
yes.
so this in horizontal discovery, basically we whatever today we discussed as we just discovered that through this credentials and this ports, right, Ajay?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes.
So okay, so I got it that these are the things we need to like use to get.
Okay. Now let me add you one disclaimer here. Don't think whatever I just showcased you today, these are the prereq for discovery. This is just, I just want to try to little bit familiar with device type of a data center. When we are coming to the discovery prereq side, I will let you know what are the specific prereq required to the discovery. Because that
Okay.
will be little different as compared to that what I showcase you today. Little different, not
Okay.
too much. Almost is the same, but something different is there.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah, no issues with them.
Yes. Uh,
Yeah.
Ajay, what is net computing?
Net computing.
Yes.
From where you have here the terminology. Net computing. What is net computing? Let me check right away. One moment. No, I have not here. What from where you have here that terminology? I'm not sure because I had never used that net computing something. Anyone knows anything about that net computing?
I guess he is trying asking cloud computing instead of like net computing.
No, not
Yes,
sure.
Ajay. Subnetting and net computing.
Oh my God, subnetting is something
Yeah.
different, right? So basically, subnet is nothing again. It's depend how you want to be divide your network IPs in simple words. So we have subnets available like, let's take an example. If you have an IP 10.0.0. Slash 10.0.0.0 slash 24. So in slash 24, there are 256 IPs there. And on internet, you can see subnet calculator. If you put your start IPs 10.0.0.0 slash 24, you are able to see the range of 256 IPs that will start from 10.0.0.1 to 10.0.0.256 in simple words. So you are able to understand using the subnetting, that is the IP range which comes under that particular subnet. In simple words, if I tell you, if I just want to, how can I give you an example? Little bit. Let me think about it again. I'm not finding any correct example is that one, but that is something which where you can see it. So it just give you clear picture using slash 24 subnet 256 IPs there, and in 256 IPs, this is the start range of that IP and this is the end range of that IP. Actually, in that 256 IPs, two IPs are reserved for every time. Only you can utilize 254 IPs to be to allocate that to your machines or devices, whatever. And the same way it's going to be down if slash 23 is there, that is 512 IPs. If you are going down, that that is going to be increasing and all. The same way, let we have slash 16, we have 65,000 something IPs are there, right? So that is there. You can utilize the subnet calculator over the internet. You can put whatever you want and you can check the calculation between the IP ranges.
Okay.
I hope it's clear.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay.
Ajay,
Okay.
actually,
Yes, Pratika.
actually, application and application service, is there any difference? Both are applications, is it?
Application and application service. Definitely, if you are going with the name, application and application service are different, right? Application, if you're talking about service now terminology, right? So application is going to be stored under CMDB and CMDB CI APPL table, right? Whatever application running on your data center or your infrastructure, that is going to be discovered and that is going to be stored. If it is not discovered, you can go and create this application, that one, right? Application service is something which you want to showcase for particular use case, right? So where you want to be in different way, if I tell you, you want to be showcased like how my application complete a scenario or use case is running. That is application service, where you're just going to be provide an entry point XYZ. Under that entry point, how many load balancers, how many web server databases connected to each other. That is application service. So that service which is going to be used by any uh, or which is going to be used by the users basically. That is application service. Okay. So I think we are good for today, guys. Anything else from anyone else? Last question before wrapping up the today's sessions.
No, Ajay, we are good. Thank you.
Okay, then thank you so much, guys. Have a good day. Bye bye. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time. Till the time,
Thank you.
have a nice day.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Ajay.